Now we're back. Okay. We'll see how that works out. Took the rate down to 2,000, which is a little bit not as good as what I had. But, I mean, how it's working is it drops to 0 KBS, then it goes to 1,000, then it goes to 2,000, it goes back to 0, 1,000, 0, then 2,000. I don't know why it's spiking like that.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, and I've been having that issue on every night except for Mondays. But now it's infected me.
Try dropping the bit rate. That might help.
Yeah, the bit rate, I have it pretty low right now. If I make it any lower, it's just going to go crazy. But I have it up at 2,000. We'll see how that works. And if it doesn't get better, then that's just what it is. We'll still roll, man. We'll still roll. All right. One other thing I wanted to ask you, Samus, is you have a catchphrase, and it's your girlfriend's favorite streamer.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So where did that come from?
I just sat down one day and I just said something funny. Somebody followed my channel, and I said, thanks for the follow, welcome channel. My name's Samus, and then they're like, why should I stay? I'm like, because I'm your favorite streamer, and he's like, I assumed it was a guy. He's like, you don't know. How do you know that? I'm like, okay, fine. I'm your girlfriend's favorite streamer. And then from there, I'm like, you know what? In my brain, I was like, God damn, that was funny. So I just ran with it and I just stayed with it. But like on a more serious note, we have discussions about real life stuff outside of Final Fantasy 14. We talk about life stuff. So, there's one night when I was when this dude was watching and he got his girlfriend to start watching, and I said, okay, here's why watching my stream and letting your boyfriend play video games is really good for your relationship, and I sold her on that. And I explained
awesome.
that. Yeah. So.
Well, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing that I noticed, and that's another thing. When I saw that tag, I was like, this guy's probably a douchebag. But I ran with it, and I was like, nah, this guy definitely seems a lot cooler than the names at least made me believe.
Well, a lot of things that I've learned, and a lot of things that I read about, like I learned from the PUA community, the pickup artist community.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys aware of that?
I know the peacocking and stuff like that, but that's all I really know about it.
Yeah, the peacocking and all those, that all came from the PUA community. PUA stands for pickup artists. It's a group of people who dedicated themselves to learning how to pick up chicks, and some people wanted to use that kind of knowledge just to pick up chicks and go for one night stands and leave them like that. Other people wanted to take a step further and figure out how to use those skills to better their life, and that's the direction I wanted to go in. That's why I took a read. That's why I learned that kind of stuff and then apply it to how I interpreted that information and threw it on my blog, and that's the persona that I am, and I like I like being like that. It makes me feel better as a person because I know that there's scum out there who are doing worse than me, who just who are learning just to bang chicks and move on and not live a fulfilling life.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people out there, and that's why I kind of saw that, and I was like, the kind of girls that you're picking up with that is also not usually the kind of girls that you want to keep either, though. I mean, you're attracting people by going out there and saying, hey, I'm different, I'm something new, you want to try me, I'm interesting, I have to be interesting because I got a pink coat on. Who else has a pink coat on? There has to be something special about me, right?
Yeah. It gets really weird when you have to be the person that you're not, which is not, again, that's not the direction that I like going in. When it felt like some of the guys out there were pretending to be something that they're not, rather than being honest with themselves and being honest with a potential girlfriend that they were looking for. So what you said earlier about if you're using these kind of tactics to pick up certain chicks, that's probably not wifey material. That's not the girl you want to make wifey.
Yeah. See, we're already going into these discussions that's a lot deeper than video games, and this is the first time you've been on the stream. So, I mean, you're spreading, man.
I hope I don't derail. I mean, I don't want to derail anything, but I think this kind of stuff is important because, when you're talking about working with people, right? Like, working, attracting people and working with them and figuring out what are your shortcomings and why you suck at video games. Like picking up chicks is no different than a video game. You have a target, you have your goals, you know what your goals are. You may or may not work with wingmen out there, or maybe you'll solo it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of parallels there that we can really explore and go real deeper into.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get deeper into that probably another night. I'm gonna try not to dive too much into that because that's your podcast, man.
Cool.
That's your thing. Oh yeah, I didn't say anything. All right, hold on. I'll wait for that later on. Sorry. I wanted to ask you about your future, and this would actually be relevant towards it too, I guess. What do you see in your future for Final Fantasy streaming and just streaming in general for you?
I like, you know what, I don't have a plan. I don't have a point B for streaming. I'm just gonna figure it out as I go along and see where it takes me. So far it's worked out pretty good for me, and because I'm so new to this, like this is a whole new world to me. I don't know. I had to learn a lot of this as I went along, so I want to see where this takes me rather than have a set point B. There are certain hard goals. In the long term, would I want to be a Twitch partner? Maybe. I think a lot of people who stream, a lot of people who get on Twitch, that's most people's end game. That's fair. For me, I look at it a little bit differently. If I become partner, then I got to play by their rules. And if I play by their rules, do I have to make compromises to who I am and how I want to run my channel?
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know what kind of things you have to do to be partner. Like, I have my own way of how I want to do my stream, and
sure.
I'm happy with the way I'm doing it. As
sure.
I build and I grow it, I don't want to be partnered and, hey, I need to put Coca-Cola in my stream to make money.
Sure.
This isn't a thing for me to make money. This is something I want to do because I enjoy doing it. At least that's how I'm taking it so far.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that all pans out. But is there anything else we really need to know about you?
You're alluding to the podcast, I guess?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like anything, man. Anything that you think people who haven't seen your show should know about you.
I mean, the podcast is really in preliminary stages right now. I want to build on evolvemail.com, the whole self-improvement thing, the whole communication thing. Yeah, I want to keep building on that. That might be separate from Twitch, but the connection I'm going to make is how to, again, talking about the parallels between life and video games, and applying what we learned from one to the other. That's what I've been saying for the last couple of days, and I've been just kind of running it through my head. And the more I say it to myself, it's like, does it sound stupid? The more I say it, does it sound stupider, or does it make more sense the more I say it? And so far, it's like, what, it makes sense, because there are a lot of parallels there. I absolutely think so.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess you could say the same thing like when you spell a word and you look at it 50 times, it doesn't look like a word anymore, right?
Yeah.
You forget what it actually is until you have to get someone else to look at it.
Yeah.
And that's important, is to get viewer feedback. And speaking on that, I just want to this is something that I just remembered from last week when we were talking about class mechanics. One thing I said that was stupid and amateur was that ninjas have mantra. And I got called out pretty hard on that.
Oh, how dare you.
It's like,
how dare you.
I thought it was their thing, and that was kind of something that they had that was better for, you bring your ninja so you get mantra. And so I got called out. I'll go ahead and say mantra is not a ninja skill. They can use it. They get 5% bonus from it, or 10% bonus. I think it's 5% though. If you're not a monk, right? Monks are mantra.
That is monks.
Okay, and they get 20%. So monks are way better because they give you both 20% healing and dragon kick. So there you go. I cleared that up. I feel better. It's off my back.
Who was it that called you out? Was it on Twitter? I'll tweet them right now, dude.
Yeah. I probably could find his Twitter. I'll hunt him down. But no, I want to also put another thing on that note. I said that around the end of my cast, and this is from me. I posted it on Reddit, and that he came and he responded to it, and that was his response. It's like, hey, you're wrong. I can't believe it. It's like nails on a chalkboard hearing you say stuff like that. I'm like, so I could take this negatively. I can say this guy is being just a complete asshole about my stream and, being kind of an elitist dickbag. But here's the thing. He watched all of my stream, all of my video for MogTalk last week. And that's like work. That's 2.5 hours is what we had last episode. And so this guy's a viewer. He's important for me to know, and I need to take his criticism because he's going to watch my show later, and I want to make this guy happy because that means a lot to me that someone actually sat there and watched my video even while we weren't live for 2.5 hours. So I'll say that if you guys have anything and I do something wrong, call me out on it. I'll be more than happy to discuss what I did wrong so I can change it later on. And his advice was know your shit before you talk. So I'll try to know my shit a little bit more before I talk.
It's when you're saying stuff in public, with the stuff we do, whether it's a podcast or a stream or a blog, you're open to scrutiny, and so I think how you handle it is really important, and how whether you want to be offended by it or not. I don't think you guys are that. I don't think you're gonna get offended or you're not gonna get upset or anything. Yeah, I think you're gonna absorb it, and you're gonna learn and move on.
Yep.
And so, some people are just rude like that. They say know your shit before you say it. Like, I don't know. That's not relevant. I wouldn't
Right.
listen to that side of it. But maybe his first side of the argument, saying, maybe correcting you on what monks are or what
Yeah.
ninjas are.
Oh, I actually saw that post. I read it earlier, and he was basically just concerned. He was like, "Well, if a new person comes in and reads your post and he doesn't know anything about this, he's not going to understand the class mechanics, and you're basically
Yeah.
misleading him."
Yeah, that's
He
kind of
wasn't
what he was
really
going
being
off
like
as, yeah.
he wasn't really being like vicious or vindictive or anything. He was.
Well, he did
seemed
say
like,
listening to that was like listening
Yeah,
to
he did
nails
say that, yeah.
on a blackboard. It's just like, okay, so it made me feel, at first, it's that instant reaction that you get just because you're human. You're a little bit upset, then I take back and I'm like, you know what? I appreciate this guy. And then it's done with. And I told him that I appreciated him, and I hope he watches my stream again and tells me other things that I make mistakes on, just so I know more, because the more I know, the better of a streamer and podcaster I can be.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty much all I got for the Q&A here. Anything else you want to mention real quick, Samus, before we move on?
Not really, but I wanted to get your opinion,
Yeah.
related to the last thing we talked about, which is feedback, negative feedback from public. The guy said you, as somebody who is a source of information on Final Fantasy 14, you should be saying the right shit. You should be 100% all the time. Okay.
That's hard.
So, well, yeah, there's gonna be people out there who are gonna scrutinize everything. What do you guys do to ensure that you guys have the best information out there, and how do you handle that kind of feedback? What kind of steps do you take moving forward, or are you careful with your postings? Just because I've experienced it recently, and I just want to see how other people are dealing with it.
Yeah. Well, Gilly, Adagio, you guys want to throw any in on that?
Well, I mostly get most of my information through. I have like nothing I do at work. I mean, I do work, but I listen to like podcast and podcast after podcast all day. I listen to 14 podcasts as much as I can. Final Fantasy 14 podcast.
Sure.
So I usually get my information from them, and I mean, I try to research it afterwards, but I basically mostly cross-check my information with the other two people on this podcast and see if that's kind of what they heard through the grapevine. And I mean, if we all match up, then it's it could be like construed as maybe it's decent, relevant information. But I mean, unfortunately, I really just don't have the time to research in depth on my information. So I'm kind of going off of what other people have said for the most part. But I mean, I try my best.
Yeah, that's fair. That's actually a good way to do it. Confirm your information with other people that you're working with. Yeah, that works.
Gilly, what about you, man? Do you have any issues with that, or have you thought much into it?
As far as like trying to learn stuff and like what each class does and what this dungeon does and stuff like that, I try to do a little bit of research, or people who like ran it, or people who actually made those classes, like healing and stuff, DPSing. I always like digging into getting down and dirty and trying to figure out how to play at my optimal game, I guess you could say. Just research, basically. Reddit does help a little bit every now and then, but sometimes like the Japanese forums are a little bit.
You guys sift through a lot of bullshit on Reddit, but but it's there. It's there.
I actually log on just to watch the trolls and just read up on them.
Gosh, yeah, Reddit is rough, and it's really rough on anyone that doesn't have a really strong presence there. Like, you guys kind of see all the drama that, if you wanted to go into the drama with some of the streamers that had to deal with Reddit, like Mr. Happy dealt with a crap load of drama with that too, right? He's never probably going to have. I can't imagine him wanting to ever go back to Reddit and post just because of how asshole-ish people can be. And people are like that to me sometimes, but you just got to take it the right way. And I actually, in order for me to post MogTalk, there's a rule in Reddit, and it makes sense. You got to post like 9 things that aren't your own, that isn't your own content. And so I post stuff, and then I actually get some valuable discussions and topics from that. Even though a lot of people are Reddit trolls, and they say, "Oh, well, this is witty. I'm gonna get the top post," and all the relevant stuff goes down to the bottom. It just really depends. Reddit has a love-hate relationship with me right now, and I still go there because it is a good place for information if you can find it. From all the posts, oh, look at what this guy said to me in a party finder. What a doofus. Or look at the way this picture is on here. The graphics look really weird at low resolution. Things like that. But there's still stuff there.
It's funny. It's like the posts that aren't upvoted, the comments and the replies that are not upvoted is usually the information that you need. The good stuff is usually there. That's the funny thing.
Yeah, but with Reddit, the highest you get upvotes for in comments, and then you get upvotes for content in your post, and that's really how it is. There's not too much you can do about it. Although I did learn steps of faith strategy from there. So there's something, right? Okay. Well, and actually I didn't chime in on that too much. And so basically your question was more of just how to handle people who give you negative feedback, right?
Yeah. I mean, as you progress with MogTalk and your respective streams, it's going to come along. So, as somebody who's kind of seen that already, I just want to throw it out there for you guys.
Well, honestly, right now, and this is something I've been kind of working with recently because I have gotten a lot of the feedback I've gotten from people who don't know me has been kind of harsh sometimes, and I just take it in stride. They give it to me, and I just accept it for what it is. And if they say something just stupid, like they just put some racist bigot comment or something just randomly in there, I can ignore that. But if they have something valuable in there, for example, monks do mantra, then that's something I can use later in the future. And not having all the information going into streaming, that's just life. You're not going to know everything when you're streaming. You're never going to know all the information. There's going to be someone like I can't do warrior DPS like Xeno does. There's no way that I could top and do 600 DPS at the start of a fight as a warrior. But I can, however, take some of that information, run with it, and when I mess up and someone corrects me, I remember that 10 times more than when I just learned it on my own. So honestly, the best way to learn is just go ahead and make those mistakes, and then eventually you'll get to that point to where you just know it all. And then you'll be a little asshole. But, yeah, that's my little piece on it. So I wanted to jump into a little bit of news here. And before I start I didn't really find too much. I found a couple of bits here. Did you guys find any news over the week that you think that would be kind of interesting to share? I'll start with you, Samus, if that's all right, if you have anything.
Truth be told, I don't read up anything on Final Fantasy 14.
Fair enough.
I don't. I listen to guys like you and other podcasts and try to learn what I can and then relay it if people ask me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll just Google it right on stream for my viewers.
Yeah, for me to get the information, that's part of my news source is going through Reddit and going through the forums, because how else am I going to get the information?
Yeah.
And so I get some information from that, and I get some good community stuff. Like I got a song last week from someone who posted that sounded like the perfect song that you would want to put in Heaven's Word was posted on Reddit, and I used it on the stream with his permission, and I wouldn't have had it if I didn't go and look at Reddit like every single day looking for something that is actually worth putting on the stream. So Gilly, have you found anything?
Nope. Nothing, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's slow, man. There's not a lot of stuff. People are working on 2.55. There's not other things that Square Enix is really going to announce. Adagio?
Nope. Very, very, very slow news week. I mean, like I've even listened to all the other podcasts, and nobody's really reporting any news, honestly. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of news about 15 and, of course, about Type 0, but as far as 14, everybody's been pretty much silent.
Yeah. Well, I found a couple of things. One thing is not really news. It's just April Fools, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they had an April Fool's post up there. Did you see the April Fool's post, Samus?
No, we can throw up the link for the channel though. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm going to throw it up right now. I actually have it right here in my little sheet. And then I got some pictures up here so people can see it. Basically, it was a... I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it. They called it a Lord of Verminion. And it was where you battle minions in an arena.
Pokemon.
And it was the new Gold Saucer. It's Pokemon. Yeah, it's Final Fantasy 14 Pokemon. And they said they were going to start working on it. And I actually believed it the first second that I read it, because I was just like, this is an official post. It looks kind of interesting. Maybe they're trying to tease us with something. That sounds like something that Gold Saucer would have. Then I was like, saw the last picture, and I'm trying to remember the name of these guys. What's the name of these guys? That race that they put up there that apparently no one likes, with the long nose and the big guys with the giant backs.
Vanu?
Is that right?
Vanu?
I'm trying to remember. Maybe chat can correct me on it. See, this is something that I have to kind of learn, that I could have had before I came here, but I just didn't get it. So
I just wanted to respond to Man in the Blue Denim. Yeah, they are going to be changing skill speed and basically the more spill speed you have, the more spill speed.
you got it. Keep going.
The more skill speed you have, the faster your dots will tick. So that will help as far as healing, and it's basically not going to be on the server time anymore. It's going to be based off your own skill speed.
Yeah, that's like Heavenward, right?
Yeah, that's going to be 3.0.
Yeah, I was reading into that a little bit too, and that's going to be awesome. So when we have this class and game mechanic discussion again, we can talk about that and how that really affects everything, because it needs to happen. I mean, it's not having like a solid tick for your DPS is kind of annoying, and just kind of depending on when the server says it's okay for you to do damage. But you know, that's good. That's news. Thanks for the news there. I appreciate it. If you get the link for that, go ahead and post it in the chat so other people can see it too. But yeah. Anyways, Pokemon for Final Fantasy 14. Would you guys want Pokemon for Final Fantasy 14? Samus, what do you think about that, man?
You know what? I'd be partial to having Lalafels fight against each other. Having a Lalafell fight
the animals, right?
Yeah, fight against like a mini Gobu or something like that. I think that'd be really funny to watch.
Yeah. Or Gilly, Adagio, what do you guys think? Would you want Pokemon in the game?
I think it would be interesting. The people definitely already like collecting the minions, so I'm sure that just give them something extra to do. I mean, sure, why not? Throw it in there. Something fun to do, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Gilly?
I want it. The fact that they told me for it, I was a little sad when I found out it was April Fool's. I'm like, you assholes.
Yeah.
Why would you do this, Yoshi?
So then, what fight would you put together, since you seem really enthusiastic about it? What would you want to see? Two minions fighting against each other? Which two minions would you want to see fight?
I'll go ahead and say the Dalamon and Luis. What is it?
Dalman and Louis.
Yeah, Louis.
That's awesome.
Because they actually, I think they do that, don't they? Or is that a different two set of minions? They kind of like do a little mini fight when you put them close to each other. But yeah, that would be awesome. Or, you know, Bahamut. And do they have a mini Bahamut yet?
Yep.
They just have the one. It's like he's breaking out of the moon, or out of Dalamud, but yeah.
Yeah, and the Warrior of Light. Or you can, you know, there's tons of things out there. Onion Knight, and then one of the little Mandrago things, you know, little vegetable guys.
Onion Knight versus
Fat Cat.
Fat Cat.
Fat cat.
Of course, if you have two Muggles together, they'll just dance each other to death. I mean, that's just how they do, right?
Yeah.
You dance off.
Man, it would be fun. I mean, WoW actually did that, so and they got a lot of attention because of it. I think there's still people who play just so they can do minions and fight each other. It doesn't do anything really for you in a game, but it's like Triple Triad here. You know, people want to do it because it's kind of fun, and it's just another thing to get people addicted to in the game. It would help them out, but I don't know if they have the resources to do it, and I'm kind of, maybe in the future. I can see them breaking at some point, maybe in an expansion or two, and introducing it as just something new. They're just like, hey, we ran out of ideas, let's fight minions. Why not?
It wouldn't be too far off from doing Gold Saucer. I mean, what do we get out of Gold Saucer? Nothing that enhances our abilities, or, you know, or the spells or gear or anything like that. So it would be one of those kind of things. And maybe when there's another lull, you know, before the next expansion, whatever it be, it's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things. That's the thing with Gold Saucer too, is that you can add billions of things to it. Snowboarding, battle arena, or we had multiple discussions on how much you can really expand on Gold Saucer, and it's just a never-ending pool of bringing players back.
Yeah, they're not done with that at all. I don't think
Give
they're
us
done.
slot machines.
Yeah.
I can actually waste my gil.
Oh yeah. What would you play a slot machine if it cost you like 5 MGP each time and you were not guaranteed to get it back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on what the odds and the payouts are.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, MGP's it's so difficult to get now. So maybe now we are all saying, yeah, I'll go blow my MPG on a slot machine. But if they're going to increase the amount of MPG you can earn later on, then we might be more inclined to do so. Actually.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, that was the April Fool's joke that they put up there, and maybe it won't be April Fool's later on. But the other part that I have for news wise was that the Triple Triad application is either out or is coming out for the iOS and Android. But I saw multiple posts on there, and one of them was like, "Oh yeah, I'm playing it right now," and another one was like, "When is this coming out?" And they're like, "Oh, probably sometime in the future." So I don't have any solid information on it. And I looked it up multiple times to try to find when is this going to be released. I know it's going to be. They plan to have this application integrated with Final Fantasy XIV, but sometimes after Heavensward is when that's supposed to happen. And so, is this just something people have in Japan?
I actually I was watching a media coverage over Reddit, and the way that the game played, it did not look like 14. It had some of the 14 cards, but it basically you won when you won the game. The cards all lined up, and then one of them flipped over, like Final Fantasy VIII. If you played Triple Triad Final Fantasy VIII, it flipped one of the cards over like that, rather than how we have it, where you just randomly potentially get a card when you win. So I really don't know if that was actually an 8 cover or if that was a 14 port. So I really don't know.
I mean, it looks interesting. It looks like something I would probably play all day, but I would have to be able to earn these cards and then be able to compete with other people and have a random match with somebody. Then I'd be happy. You can't really do that right now in Final Fantasy. You just play whoever, and then they're like, "Oh, well, I only have 1 star card, so that's the only reason you won," or it's just tic-tac-toe. There's no one that takes Triple Triad seriously right now that I can find. There's a handful of people, but I mean, I don't even take it seriously anymore. I got really upset with this tournament, and I played King Elmer for like 30 games out of 35 games. But that's news, I guess. Samus, do you do Triple Triad? Do you play it at all?
No, not really. I don't.
Man.
Yeah, I don't. Just because, when I jump on, I focus on a couple of things. Like I farm the gear that I want. I do my dailies, and then from there, it's whatever I feel like doing. But Triple Triad and Gold Saucer stuff, not really too high for me on priority list.
Yeah. Well, if these guys know, like almost every MogTalk there's been some sort of segment on Triple Triad. Because, I mean, it's dramatic. There's lots of people out there complaining about the tournaments, and they're upset about it, and with good reason, because, they pretty much said, here's a tournament, play 15 people, and then you're done. That's not a tournament, though, right? You're just, I don't know.
There's probably a lot more to be done, with Gold Saucer and Triple Triad. I suspect there's going to be way more stuff in development. I just don't know if it's priority right now. I think they just want to throw it out there to appease the crowd. And it's like, oh, that's cool. The time to people to give something to do before Heavensward, and then maybe after Heavensward, then they'll maybe develop it a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm sure I've already had this discussion with Adagio and Gilly about my opinions on apps in Triple Triad multiple times. So I'm pretty sure they're tired of hearing that dead horse.
Well, I've actually had a renewed interest in Triple Triad now that I can get the lightning card off of Chitaru. I've been kind of farming her every night before I log out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they did that too, because so many people were like, they actually destroyed. Well, there's one person, at least one person destroyed his lightning card because he was upset about the cheating.
Yeah, I actually saw that. Yeah, he won. He did it. That's what he said. He did that in like 5 hours. He got to the top of the board and got the lightning card.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's a statement. He was upset about it, and he was like, this is the most ridiculous thing because you could easily cheat it. And he made a character, a level 15 character, and it was called Lightning Card. And that was the whole goal, was to get it and then throw it away on video and then post it up, just kind of like a middle finger to Square for the tournament. But I mean, it's not that vital to the game. It's just, it is vital for some people like me. It draws me in, and if there was a good system for a tournament, like a ladder system or something, I would play a lot more than I do right now. But I think they just care more that I'm subscribed too. Not as like, do I play every single day for 10 hours? It's more of just, do you play a few times in a week and try and enjoy playing a few times in a week. So, and it still does that for me.
Well, the dude who destroyed his card, I'm sure Square Enix cares a whole lot, and I'm sure Yoshi P's crying for him.
Yeah.
Violin for that guy who's dumb enough to destroy his own card.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad. I probably wouldn't have destroyed it if I cheated my way to the top. I would have been like, okay, yeah, at least I got it, but I probably deserved it anyways. I'm sure I would have won if I played fairly. So,
It's like your tears are delicious.
yeah. Well,